Hey, we're ETX.
And this is episode 188 of the ETX ROCKS Show featuring Amy Goloby.
This is Boston Chris with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show.
Louise here.
Descript.
Featuring all genres and styles of entertainment.
And coming to the ETX ROCKS. Let's hear from Louise, please.
From the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond.
Out of the box. ETX ROCKS.
It's awesome.
We keep them coming.
$5, that's pocket change.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Haley McDaniel. Are y'all ready for this?
ETX ROCKS Show is the greatest show of all time, okay?
We are ETX ROCKS.
The ETX ROCKS Show is the best show of all time, say? The other shows, you're good, you're real good. As long as we're around, you'll be second best, say?
Cut.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Emily Cole. Thank you for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. This is episode number 186 with Amy Goloby.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, so I was I always mispronounce words, always. So I think my biggest research was just, all right, get her name right. So it was good to actually hear an interview from someone else last night where they were saying your name. I was like, all right, I think I might be able to do this. All right, so Amy is, you're from the Houston area, right?
Yes.
And is it Houston itself or one of the
Tomball.
suburbs?
Well,
Tomball.
I grew up in Houston, but we now live in Tomball, which is basically Houston.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, we have a friend from Tomball. Do you know Emily Cole?
Actually, I do. Yeah, I've met her before.
So yeah, Emily Cole's a good friend of ours, and she's from the Tomball, Montgomery area, and it's really cool to have you on the show because we are a grassroots show. We love acoustic, unplugged music, and that's kind of what your forte is.
Yes, I love acoustic, folk, indie, all that type of music. So.
Right, and you're also mostly a solo acoustic act.
Yes.
But if you heard your record, it's completely not that.
Yeah, it's definitely fully produced.
Yeah, and it's great though. It's
Yeah.
not overproduced, and
Yeah.
and that's important. You know, we were listening to your music last night, and one thing I kept saying was, "Man, I love that right there." Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool too, because there's
Yeah.
like violin and the electric guitar and all of these different elements that add so much to you, and it's not really all that folky either. I mean,
No.
there's folk elements, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of rock and stuff in there as well.
Yes.
So when you're kind of planning the production of the album, what's in your mind as far as genre, if anything?
I call it folk rock. So
Okay.
it's like in the middle of like folk, indie, and commercial.
Okay.
So like somewhere in the middle. But Americana is kind of the same thing, like folk rock Americana.
Right.
Or I guess indie pop, something like that, like folk pop, folk rock. That's
Yeah.
what I call it.
And so, I mean, you brought your guitar with you, so you're going to do a song for us, probably
Yes.
at the beginning and maybe one at the end as well.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're going to play for us first.
The first song I'm going to play is called Wild, and it's actually based on the story about the Indian chief. He says to his grandson, like, there's two wolves living inside of you, and whichever one you feed the most is the one you become.
Right.
And so this one is about the wild wolf. And
Nice.
so that's the premise behind it.
And is this on the record?
Yes.
All right,
It's
so
the
y'all
last
check
song.
this out. This is called Wild by Amy Goloby.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, in the woods there lives a goose, hungry for his next feast. In the silence, you can hear him calling for his kind. No man can ever tame him, no chains can restrain him. He's wild, he's wanted, dead or alive. He's in your head, he's in your sleep. Cut your heart out with his teeth. He's
guys, that was Wild by Amy Goloby. You guys will be right back with more from Amy right after these messages from our sponsors. And make sure, if you like what we're doing, to send a donation over to us. Just go to paypal.me/ETX Rock. Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the ETX Rock Show. You guys should check out the Jefferson Burn Rally, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 13th to the 15th. Michelle, tell us about the Burn Rally.
Hi, this is Michelle, and I'm the event coordinator with the Jefferson Burn Rally. This is what we have going on this year. We will be having live music both Friday and Saturday, featuring 22 bands from 3 stages, including Darren Morris, Geneva, White Trash Wannabes, Captain Joe Band, Kiss Tribute Band, Love Gunners.
And many, many more. That's awesome, Michelle. 22 bands, 3 stages, and 2 nights of live music. What else do you have going on?
Hello, Boston. We have vendors, food vendors. We have R32 stunt team. We have a poker run, a trivia walk, and first time ever, we have the Dino Drag contest.
And much, much more. That is amazing. And Michelle, I heard that you have something going on with motorcycles.
Yes, we have motorcycle games, and we have a bike show as well. The event goes through till Sunday, and we have a church service for all bikers that would like to attend 10 a.m. with the CMA.
And so how much is it to get into the Jefferson Burn Rally?
It's only $20, and it's an all-access wristband.
So you can pay $20 and come out anytime, all weekend long?
All weekend long.
Awesome. Okay, so people know what the Jefferson Burn Rally is, but who does it benefit?
Benefits children that are burn survivors. We raise the funds and awareness, and we send it to the Percy R. Johnson Burn Foundation and Camp I'm Still Me. We send them to camp for a whole week, all expenses paid, and they get to be themselves. And when they get to camp, they are around others that are like them.
Where do folks go to come enjoy this rally?
Downtown Jefferson, Polk Street and Austin Street.
So guys, check out the Jefferson Burn Rally, October 13th through the 15th in downtown Jefferson. On the corner of Polk and Austin, you can get your tickets right there. Go out for a good time, for live music, all kinds of other cool stuff to do for a good cause, benefiting the Percy R. Johnson Burn Foundation and Camp I'm Still Me. For more information on the Jefferson Burn Rally, look them up on Facebook at facebook.com/Jefferson Burn Rally.
Hey everybody, this is Sammy Brazier at the School of Music 101. We are a full-service music store. We service everything we sell here. We do guitar repair, strings, whatever you need your intonation set on your guitar, bring it in. We do it right here. We sell new and used guitars, amps, sets. Trade-ins are welcome. Bring your old gear in and get some new gear. Come on. We're doing guitar lessons, bass lessons, keyboard, drum, trumpet. We have some of the best teachers in East Texas. Terry Salyer's been with us. Toby Phillips. I have Daryl Gann on keyboard. Val Nell. All styles of music. We like to have fun with music, and we teach them, songs that they want to learn, and maybe a little music theory mixed in there with it. But we try to make it fun. We have 2 recitals a year. We're also going to do a battle of the bands, a battle of the lead guitar players. We're starting a new program that's called Garage Band, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some of these young people together, and they can form a band. And after a couple of months of them rehearsing with a mentor as a band, we will let them play at a local venue and invite their parents out and things like that, just to try to make it fun for them. The first lesson is on us. It's free, so come on out, sign up. And by the way, we have a special this month. If you don't own a guitar, you don't own an instrument, we're going to furnish one for you so you can see if you like taking lessons and maybe you want to pursue it and buy that instrument or another one somewhere. We also have a video production company. If you need them to come out and do your birthday or your graduation, whatever, we can provide it for you. Here are some of the students that make us really feel good about teaching. Some of the success stories, for instance, Allie Venable. She started when she was 12 years old. She's doing records. She's playing all over the country. Reese Malone, who started when he was maybe 10 years old. I can remember him coming in at 10 years old and wanting me to show him some Jeff Beck. So I knew he was going to be good. The store is open weekdays Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays we're open 11 to 3. We're located in Hallsville, Texas, 300 East Main Street, Hallsville, Texas.
I'm Lauren's mom, Susan. We started lessons about 6 weeks ago, heard about him through a friend, and it's just been a really good experience. She's enjoyed it and looking forward to the next lesson.
Y'all come on down and see Amy. She's at the School of Music. You'll probably find her behind the cash register. The store number is 903-660-7333. If you can't get us there, call me on my cell, 903-987-9639. We are School of Music 101, where school is cool.
And we are back, and Amy has come up to Longview to visit with us today from the Tomball area in Houston, and we were talking a little bit off camera about Hurricane Harvey and all of that. And,
yeah.
I mean, you've also been busy, not just with the natural disaster and all that went down there, but just came home from Germany as well,
yes.
and fixing to get married.
Yep, it's a busy season.
Yeah. Plus, you just new record just came out this year, so you got to promote that, and you're a heck of a singer-songwriter as well. So I'm sure you're probably playing gigs here and there as well.
Yeah, trying to. This is one of the gigs I have.
Just a busy part of your life right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
very cool. So I definitely want to thank you for visiting with us today. We always love to have grassroots kind of artists on the show that are folksy and Americana, and we're just a huge fan of the singer-songwriter. And if you've seen any of our episodes, then you would know that we really like to tell the story behind the music and where the artist came from, and not necessarily just promotion about certain things. So I guess my first question for you would be, why would you want to get into music? Because it's such a hard thing, and I know that artsy people kind of end up that way. So is that just kind of who you were as a kid? Was the artsy type?
Well, I was very artsy as a kid. I always had creative pursuits, and I was actually a writer as a kid. Like I started off writing fiction as a kid. Okay. And so I was really always into writing. And then when I reached middle school, I started to get into poetry. And so I really liked rhythm and rhyme. And I loved putting words together and evoking emotion through words. And so I already had the poetry thing going on. And then once I got my guitar in high school, that's when I started to put my poetry into like songs, into melody. And I remember as a kid making up songs as a kid and always having a melody in my head, and I was really good at it. And so it just became easy. Like once I learned 3 chords on the guitar, which is pretty much all you need to write a song, then I just started writing my own songs.
So you were really more influenced by actual writing than by actual music. And I mean, you can tell that from what you do now, because there's stories within your songs, and there's that dynamic with pretty much everything you do. And as a person who loves storytelling songs, that's really, really cool. So I mean, so you had that background in writing. Were you being influenced by music around the same time as well?
I was just listening to pop music and whatever was on the radio at the time, but I really liked John Mayer. He was popular in high school when I was in high school. I liked John Mayer, so that's kind of who started me down that path of folk rock type of music. Because I really loved his first album, which is more acoustic sounding, and I love David Gray. He was another one that I really liked. And then Dave Matthews. So those were all like the people I was listening to in high school when I started writing songs. And then Griffin House was another really strong favorite of mine. And I would say my music is most similar to his early stuff. And I listened to him a lot in college when I wrote a lot of my songs.
Right. And do you feel like as a writer that your style is more influenced by those folks, or does your writing kind of pick up some of their traits as well?
Whoever I'm listening to at the time is where my style tends to lean towards. Like I started listening to Johnny Swim, which is a folk duo, and I started when I started to write my songs, I could tell my melodies and stuff were starting to mimic kind of what they did. So I think it's just influenced by whoever I'm listening to at the time. And
do you feel like that's okay as a creative person?
I think so, because even though my music is influenced by that, it doesn't sound exactly like that. And I think I have put my own twist to it, and I think each artist has their own gifts, and they all have their own talents that they add to their music. So
I think that's the great thing about music, is every artist out there is kind of driven and influenced by their own set of influences, whether, I mean, some people might like David Gray and John Mayer, and you have Johnny Swim, whereas somebody else has Joan Baez or whatever, and you have a totally different style because of that. That's the great thing about music, especially from the singer-songwriter part of it, because everything ends up unique that way. It doesn't end up cookie cutter and just out of the box and all of that stuff. It's what's so great about music, especially nowadays where independent music is so huge, and kind of almost mainstream.
It's becoming more mainstream.
Isn't that weird? Like, independent music is becoming mainstream, and I just think that's because the fan of music is getting tired of being force-fed.
Yeah. And now
yeah.
indie music is more accessible to people.
Right.
Because now we have social media, and so indie artists are able to get their music out there
Right.
without radio and without the millions of dollars of promotions that big pop artists have.
And not only that, but an indie artist like Amy Goloby can head on to Nashville and record an album and end up with some unbelievable players on that album. Tell us about some of the folks you had playing.
Steve Thomas is the fiddle player, and he's played for like Leanne Womack, for Brooks and Dunn, for there's another big one, Kenny Chesney. So he's like really big in Nashville.
Right.
And then Dave Isaacs plays the electric guitar, and he's all around Nashville. He's been there for years, and so he's played. I guess I don't know like the big name artists that he's played for, but he teaches guitar.
All I got to tell you is check out the album
Yeah.
if you want to hear Dave Isaacs
he's
roll
really
in that. Holy cow!
I love his playing. And then the studio that we recorded in was Jared Ribble's studio, and he is the drummer for a lot of famous Christian bands.
Wow.
So he's also played for the show Nashville. So
Right.
he's pretty big in Nashville too.
And you know, my point is that back in the day, being an independent artist, you didn't end up with players like that on your albums ever. You never ended up with a studio with some, you know, acclaim ever.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to see that, you know, when we have somebody from wherever, small town Texas, whatever you want to call it, that's gone to Nashville and put out this amazingly produced album by professional studio musicians and being completely independent, because you legitimately do everything yourself.
Pretty much.
You know, I mean, she's doing her graphics and her promoting and everything, booking, all of that.
Yeah,
so I mean, you are completely independent.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the record being produced,
Yes.
you know, with some help. And you know, we talked a little bit off camera about what your style is, because I've listened to you as a solo artist, which is what you typically do. You don't perform with a full band, right?
I have before, but then when I started recording this album, I got too busy, so I didn't have my band with me anymore. But I want to get back into performing with a band because I really like it.
Right.
But most of the stuff I do is solo acoustic.
And I mean, the solo acoustic stuff is great because we can hear your voice, which I told her off camera, her vocals kind of remind me of a blend of like Stevie Nicks and Belinda Carlisle, who she didn't actually hear of. I hope you look her up, by the way. And like even some Pat Benatar. You guys really need to go check out the record, and we'll tell you where you can very shortly on this episode. But you know, being able to hear those vocals in a solo acoustic environment is just adds a whole lot more intimacy, I think, to the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of times as a fan, I hear an album that's produced, fully produced, and I lose that.
Yeah.
In this case, that did not happen with you. Because everything, like I said off camera, everything had its place and it was exactly where it needed to be. I think that's because of the experience from the musicians that you had.
Yeah.
But as a solo artist, how hard is it for you to kind of push a product that you're not actually selling live?
Very hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to do all of it by yourself, and I think indie artists do still need some help from other people. Like I have paid a guy to help me get it on radio, and I have he's helped me write a press release and hopefully maybe get some sync licenses to, you know, get it out there to like TV shows on radio or TV shows and movies. So I still have to spend, you know, the money and the time like finding those great people. So because they can do a way better job than I can, because I don't have the time to be like 10 people. So I have
and
to
that's
like
when you start sharing the
exactly
risk,
like you
know?
have to have some help from somewhere.
Right.
So so yeah, I mean I've had a little bit of help, but then social media is really the best place for indie artists to be. So that's where I promote a lot.
And do you think it's because do you think social media helps the indie artist mostly because of that connectability factor?
Yeah, because they can talk to the you know, the customer, the fans. They and that's how I connect to my favorite artists, is through social media. I like getting to know them on a more personal level than what you see on magazines and interviews. Like you don't see the personality, like who they really are outside of the camera. So I like connecting with my favorite artists on social media because I see the behind the scenes, who they really are.
Yeah, and social media can really make or break you, and I think a lot of artists don't realize that. You know, it's like, you know, hey, if I'm a jerk on social media, I'm probably gonna lose fans. You know, but a lot of them don't care. But you really have to watch that because I mean everything you do in public as an artist is a representative of your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so social
That's
media can be a double-edged sword for sure.
Yeah, I'm very cautious about that. Yeah, so I very rarely like post anything that would be controversial or something that my fans would probably
like stay away from religion, politics,
all my
personal life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So I mean, you're taking a little bit of a hiatus right now. You're still performing a little bit.
A little bit.
You're fixing to get married in November. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
And so was the Germany thing kind of a pre-honeymoon? Or?
That was for his birthday, for my fiance's birthday, and we had planned that before we got engaged. And I remember thinking, well, what if we get engaged, then we have a honeymoon to plan and this, but it actually.
Well, man, the honeymoon's got to be like there's got to be pressure now to outdo Germany.
Yeah.
You can't just go to the Taco Bell at this point, you know.
Yeah. But actually, Germany came in perfect timing because Hurricane Harvey hit right before we left, and so we missed all of that shenanigans. And it was kind of hard to see everything from afar, like seeing my hometown on the news in Germany, and seeing everything go down when I wasn't there. But
it's funny because we were out of state too when everything went down. So
So I think it was perfect timing because I did need a break from some of the wedding planning because that gets really stressful and chaotic.
I'm doing it myself now.
As well. So Germany, I think, was a good break from like everything. And then when I came back, then it was like, okay, I finally have the mental capacity to deal with Harvey and deal with wedding planning.
Kind of like a reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so guys, I want to read something, just a little bit of a snippet from her bio that I really loved. It says, Amy Goloby's new album, Back to New, is a folk Americana mixture of love songs with an element of faith. It's the first line of the bio. Did you write that?
I think I did.
That is unbelievable. Okay, so there's a lot of questions just on this first line of your bio, and I'm going to try to make sure that we do this justice because I love this. Because basically in this one line, you're talking about secular music and non-secular music right there in the first, 8 words or whatever of your bio.
Yeah.
So as an artist you're an indie folk artist, that's what you go by, folk rock, but you have a lot of the Christian elements to your music.
Yes.
You also come real close to gospel on some of your songs as well. So how do you keep it straight between the secular and non-secular?
I think, I play at a lot of venues that are secular. And so I usually just try to focus on hope and faith and finding a lot of people don't really know God. They don't want a relationship with him. Some people I perform to are just anti-God.
Right.
And especially when I go to folk conferences because it's very leftist, kind of demographic. So I do have a hard time, professing my faith in those kind of circumstances, but whenever I look back on my experiences, I could not have gotten through them or written these songs without God in it. So, and it's really hard for me to take God out of my songs now because, my first album, I think I only had one song about God. And then because it was mostly about love and breakups, because that's what I was going through at the time. But then, in my later 20s, reaching my 30s, that's when, my faith became really strong. And, if I'm expressing myself through music and my faith is really strong, then it kind of somehow enters the song without me even trying. So, like, even I have a couple of, like, breakup type songs on this album, but because of my faith, that's where my songs focus is more on the faith side of it and how I came out of it. And, like, I guess having that peace, knowing that things will work out because of my faith. And so that, I guess when I'm performing, I don't blatantly preach to people and say you have to be a Christian. I don't blatantly do that because that's not how people become close to God.
Like your songs are not preachy. It's just it's how the situation has affected you.
Yeah.
As a human, not as an artist or anything like that, but you're just professing your faith within your art.
Yeah.
And if people feel like that's preachy, then they're not listening.
Yeah. And I try not to and I don't like the preachy type of songs and artists. I don't want to get up there and throw it in their face because I know that there's people who aren't comfortable with that. And I want people to feel comfortable with faith, and I want them to feel comfortable with religion and God. And you know, I think that's why I don't call myself blatantly like a Christian artist,
Right.
even though my songs are a lot about faith. And I don't want to be like the type of artist that only sings songs about God and whatever.
Well, what I love about it is it's the subtlety of it. I mean,
That's
I'll be
what I
listening
went
to
for.
a song and I'll be like, and then about 3/4 of the way through the song, I'll be like, ah,
Yeah.
okay. And that is a remarkable thing to do. Like, I think the song "Love You Back."
Yeah, Love You Back to New.
Yeah,
That one,
it's
yeah.
basically you've gone through a breakup, and now you're just going to give your heart back to your first love.
Oh, Petty Stuff. That one.
Oh, yeah, Petty
but
Stuff,
I'm glad
yeah.
not a lot of people catch on to that song about being about God. 'Cause
Well, yeah,
some
because
people-
I mean, you're talking about your first love, but your
Yeah.
first love is not like your high school sweetheart.
Exactly.
Your first love is your father, you
Yeah,
know, God.
exactly.
And so, I mean, that's that ah moment that I had during
Yeah.
that song. I was like, oh, she's giving her heart back to God.
Exactly. Not everyone gets that because some people have responded saying, "Why are you going back to your high school sweetheart?"
Right.
I'm like, "You missed it."
Right.
But you got it. So
And
that's
then that
pretty cool.
subtlety is really cool because, and there's a song out there, "Bless the Broken Road" by Rascal Flatts,
Mm-hmm.
which is really subtle in that way. That song was a Christian song. It was written as a Christian song, and Rascal Flatts didn't change a lyric, not a single part of the song, just changed up the style and the tempo, and all of a sudden it's a love song.
Yeah.
But that song is a Christian song. It was written about God, and that subtlety is something that can be changed just
Yeah.
without even changing anything in the song.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what I love about what you do, your writing
Yeah.
style.
And that's where I like feel where I am as an artist is like I don't want to like push religion onto people, but I still can't help but write about my faith.
Right.
So that's kind of where
Do you
I
feel
am.
like when you're not writing about that, like if that's not part of the process, that it's almost alien to you now?
You mean like not?
Like there's nothing in this, like I'm writing the song, and there's nothing God related
Yeah.
or faith based in this song.
You know, I've tried to write hit songs. Like I would go to
Right.
Nashville and try to write the way they want me to write, like hit songs, and I just can't do it. I can't. I don't
Right.
feel it.
Yeah.
And so I have to write what I believe in, and I feel like I'm not being true to other people when I'm not writing what I believe in.
Exactly.
So it's hard for me to not write.
And how can you convince your fan base that that's who you are if they don't feel the connectability to the song that you don't feel? You know?
Yeah, exactly. And they won't be able to relate if I don't
Right.
relate.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So it's very cool. Again, Amy Goloby's new album, it's called Back to New. Just an incredible mixture of songs, all different genres. It's really a hodgepodge of styles that I think you guys will love. One thing that I love about this, and I wanted to know what your strategy was. Basically, indie artists, when they have an album, especially when you have to go to Nashville to, you know, put it together, and you have professionals mixing and mastering and playing on it and all of that. Now you've got this project that's in your hands, and this was an expensive project for you, I'm sure. So, you know, you're putting this out everywhere, and most times an artist that's gone through that process will never, ever, ever put their album on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what was the motivation behind doing that?
Because when I search for music that I like, I go to YouTube.
Right.
And that's the first place that I go to. And so if someone's seeking out my music, the first place they're going to go to is probably YouTube.
Right.
And so I wanted to have access, I wanted my fans to have access to my music on whichever platform they use. And so it was hard for me. At my first time I didn't do that. I said, no way am I going to like put my music out there for free.
Right.
But that's what people expect now, and it just, times have changed, and that's what is expected, really. And so if you want your artist to find your music, you're going to have to do that. You know?
Do you feel like that helps or hurts the
think,
sales?
I don't think it has really done anything like differently to my sales. Like I still didn't sell as much with my first, like I had to work hard to make the sales, even with my first album. And so I don't think it makes much of a difference because everyone is trying to get your music for free. They're still going to Spotify or they're still going to SoundCloud. Or they're going to try to find it for free if they want it.
Right.
So my idea is,
you think it's just too hard to keep it
away? It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, if they want it bad enough, they're going to get it.
They're going to find a way.
I mean, why
to
should I just keep, fighting that fight?
Yeah, and then one of the artists I follow said it's you just have to, if you want to be found. Like if you want your music found and you want your music out there and your fans to find you, you're gonna have to just get on YouTube, get on Spotify, because that's where your fans are at, and that's where I'm at when I look for music.
Right. So accessibility is more important than financial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, It's not like my first album, without having it on YouTube, was paying the bills as much
Right,
as like
right.
my job. So, like, it's the same. It's still the same, but now my music is more accessible to people.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I see that, I'm just like, huh, that's interesting, you know, because I know a lot of the bigger artists would, you know, just couldn't fathom putting free music out there. But to me, if I was an artist, I would look at that as a risk. But I can understand the same way. You know, I want my fans to hear it, whether they're paying for it or not. At least they get to hear it.
Yeah, and then it gets shared.
Right.
And then other
do you
people
feel?
find out.
Do you notice that most of your sales are in person, like at shows?
Yes, most of my sales are definitely at shows, live shows.
Right.
Than they are online or anything like that. Because even I don't buy my favorite artist's album until I go to their show.
Right.
So I prefer to buy the CD at the show, and it seems like a lot of people still do that.
Yeah, we're definitely one of those people. Not just because we want to see somebody live first, but we're kind of collectors too. So we like to have the physical CD. Yeah, we might be old school, whatever. It's all good.
I still have a CD player. So.
All right, so you know, we talk about God's timing a lot on this show and how God always has the perfect order for things. And, you know, we've done a lot of these shows, 186 of them now, I guess, over a year and 4 months, which is crazy. But it's just weird when you're talking to different artists from different areas, sometimes completely different parts of the country, and you end up seeing certain names or certain locations always popping up through what you're working on.
Yeah.
And here in the last couple of weeks, I've been seeing the name Tony Ramey a lot. And so I saw him on the questionnaire that you sent in as somebody that you had opened for. In case anybody doesn't know Tony Ramey out there, one of the most underrated songwriters ever, by the way. And actually lives in Texas now. He moved here about 5-6 years ago. But you have had the opportunity to open for some pretty big names.
Yeah.
So I guess my question for you is, as a small town indie artist, what's it like to be not just asked to do that, but then have to make it through one of those shows without just falling apart like I would?
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel inadequate whenever they start performing, and I'm
Right.
like, oh wow, I have a lot of work to do, because they know what they're doing. Like, they know how to perform. Like, Bob Livingston was an amazing performer. And he's done it for years and years, and he had great stories. He was just really good. I mean, he had like harmonicas and the little tap foot drum.
Yeah, it's like a one-man band.
He was a one-man band, and he was good. And I was intimidated after, like, I opened for him. I'm glad I opened and didn't play after him. But I really see it as a learning experience, because I'm watching them and I'm taking notes while I'm, opening for these guys who are much more seasoned than I am. Like Tony Ramey, I love how easy he can just talk to the audience, and he has really good songs. Because he's been in Nashville. He was in Nashville for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he has really good songs. And then another one was Brooks Williams. He was really great at guitar. And he was also just, I don't know, I see it as a learning experience, really, for me.
So you're really a research-based artist, too. Like, you're not just enjoying the music. You're, like, picking it apart in your brain and, like, okay, which elements of this can I use for myself? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of artists will just enjoy the moment, live in the moment, and then not take anything out of it. You're just being completely influenced over and over again, just through life experience.
Definitely taking notes, because I'm like, oh, okay, if I ever have to do a 2-hour show like this guy, what do I need to do? How can I be better?
Right.
So how can I be a better performer? And so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so if you're a follower of the ETX ROCKS Show, you know that we like to play a game on each and every episode of the show. Sometimes we forget, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't. And usually when I'm sitting here talking to my guests, I'm trying to decide in my brain which game I want to play, because we have like 3 of them. But I think what we're going to do this week is What the Heck with Amy Goloby. And the way this works is just going to be 10 questions.
Okay.
They're kind of silly in nature. Stop trying to see my questions, Amy. Trying to cheat. Immediately trying to cheat. And all I'm looking for is the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
All right? So, and they're all PG, so you don't have to worry about that.
Good.
All right, so this is What the Heck with Amy Goloby. All right, number 1, if bacon is bacon and cookies are cookies, then why do we cook bacon and bake cookies?
that's a good one. I actually don't know. That's my answer. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
It doesn't.
We should bake bacon and cook cookies.
That would be true.
It's kind of like that old thing, why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway?
Drive on a parkway, park on a driveway. Who comes up with these words?
I don't know. With everything, why is it so, like, opposite?
Yeah.
The English language is just screwy.
It is.
Okay, so you're deserted on an island,
Mhm.
in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, let's say.
Okay.
All right, now you can pick anybody to be deserted on the island with you. And then you have to pick 3 items that will keep you entertained.
Okay. Well, I guess I would have to say my fiance.
Because he's in the room.
And then 3 items to entertain me. Well, my phone keeps me pretty entertained for a long time.
No, I didn't say you. I said y'all.
Oh.
It has to be to entertain both
I
of
think
y'all.
we could both be entertained with a phone.
One phone.
One phone?
That would be entertaining.
Yeah, that would. You know, a guitar. I think I would have to pick my guitar because
Okay.
that would entertain me for a while. I have one last, and I could serenade him. So that's both of us. And then the last one, cards. He's saying cards because we play card games together to
Okay,
keep
playing
each other
cards.
entertained.
So one person will be playing solitaire while the other one's on the phone, and then they'll
Yeah.
switch.
There we go.
True statement.
All right, so on average, how many times do you hurt yourself attempting to dance in the shower per week?
Never.
Never.
I never dance in the shower.
Okay, that's good to know.
Now I'm gonna start though.
All right, so why do you think the chicken crossed the road?
I was just asked this question this morning.
So you were preparing.
I was
Perfect.
prepared.
And you should know the answer.
Yeah. And well, I actually did see a chicken try to cross the road, and he didn't make it. So.
Oh, good lord.
So yeah, all I saw was feathers from the back of the car in front of me. So I don't know why he was crossing it, but he should have stayed on the other side.
I think there was probably better internet. Like,
Really?
On the other side.
That makes sense. That's why I would cross the road.
Yeah, me too. Especially if you were on a deserted island.
Seriously.
With your phone. All right, what are we on? Number 4? All right, number 4. If a parsley farmer loses a lawsuit, do they garnish his wages?
Sure. Is there an herb that sounds like sure? Like
I don't know. It depends on how much time you have. All right, number 5. All right, so have you ever seen Donald Duck wear pants?
No.
Okay, so why does he wrap himself in a towel when he gets out of the shower?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
You don't know at all?
Mm-mm.
Can't even make something up?
Doesn't want to ruffle his feathers. I don't know.
All right. Number 6. What happens if you get scared half to death twice?
You're fully dead, right?
I don't know.
Or does it go backwards like in decimals? Like
I think if it were to happen really quickly, like you were
Yeah.
scared half to death twice really fast, like within a few minutes,
yeah,
then yeah, you'd probably die. But
probably.
if it's spread out, then you're always half.
Okay.
You
so
know,
there's
so
a
like
time limit.
I think maybe there should be.
So what is the time limit? So I don't want that to
I'm
happen.
not in charge of that. You know, I mean, it's just a question that I have on here.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking, like, if you scared me half to death right now, and then it was like 2 weeks later, and then I almost got hit by a car, like, let's say I'm that chicken, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't have all my feathers everywhere.
Yeah.
Then I would be half to death again, but it's only really 3/4 of the way now.
I think you just died if you got hit by a car.
Well, I don't think I would get hit.
Oh.
I would just get scared half to death, and
So you'd pass out.
I would just want that internet. All right, so number 6? Yeah. All right, so let's say you got possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
And you called a exorcist, and then you failed to pay him. Does that mean you'd get repossessed?
Yes.
She's taking the easy way out. She's just yes or no. All right. We're on number 7. All right, so what do you think cats dream about?
Cats? Probably chasing mice. Or catnip. Or dogs.
I think they'd probably be dreaming about a lot because they're always
trees.
sleeping. Climbing trees?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My cat's probably dreaming about being free from her captors. Because she always wants
Just
to go
getting away
outside.
from y'all?
Yeah.
I could see that. All right, so number 8. Someone gives you an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now you're not allowed to sell this elephant or give it away. So what do you do with this elephant?
Keep it as a pet because I love elephants.
Okay,
It's my
so
favorite
how
animal.
would that logistically work?
Find a yard somewhere. Yes?
Pay attention.
He's saying pay attention because I keep telling him I want a pet elephant.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is funny. So you guys discussed the chicken crossing
Yeah.
the road today, and you've always wanted a pet elephant.
Yes.
All right,
And
so
a pet panda, and a pet lion, and a pet everything that's impossible to have.
so all you have to do is sell like 4 hit records,
Yeah.
and then you could buy the Houston Zoo.
Perfect. So buy my CD.
Buy her CD, y'all. All right,
Don't
number
buy
9.
It, don't buy it. I don't want to spend it.
All right, so number 9. Is there anything in your life about penguins that you love?
Oh, they're cute.
Okay, so if a penguin walked through that door right there,
Yeah.
right this second, and he's wearing a sombrero, why do you think he's here, and what does he say?
Something in Spanish because he's wearing a sombrero, like Yo quiero Taco Bell or something. Maybe that's why he came here to Texas for some
The
Tex-Mex.
penguin has come here to take her on her honeymoon to Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
Which measures up to the Germany bill.
Yes, that's it. Take me back to Hawaii.
All right, so speaking of Taco Bell, number 10. If 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean the 5th person enjoys it?
Ew. Gross. That's disgusting. No.
No, they don't
That means
enjoy
the
it?
other people are not enjoying it.
But you would think like diarrhea really sucks, right?
Yeah.
So you would think everybody suffers from it.
Yeah. But that
So
fifth
how could that
person-
5th person like enjoy,
diarrhea?
or does he just not suffer? Like it's just like just another thing.
He just sits on the toilet all day. That's his thing, his hobby. I don't know. He likes
Sitting
Taco
on
Bell.
the toilet all day.
He's probably eating tacos, so he's not worried about the diarrhea.
All right, so if there's anybody out there from Taco Bell, we would love to have you sponsor this episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. We would definitely appreciate that. And the World Wildlife Fund, too.
Yes. Give me a panda.
We could have elephant burritos right here on the show.
Yes. I don't want to eat the elephant. Just want him as a
All right,
pet.
so that was What the Heck with Amy Goloby. Very cool. Thanks for being a good sport. All right, and we will be right back after this message from Aaron Watson.
Howdy, folks. This is Aaron Watson. Support local music and ETX rocks.
All right, so we are back, and Amy's actually going to play us another song, and then we're going to tell you guys where you can find Amy on social media and all of that stuff, where you can buy her records so she can afford to buy a zoo, and all that stuff. So tell us about the song you're going to play. You're going to play Least of These?
Yes, I'm doing your request. So the least of these is based off the verse from the Bible about feeding, Jesus says to feed the least of these. And so the song is really about all the forgotten people that we tend to overlook on a day-by-day basis. And so this really is a song of, like, this is a voice for those who are voiceless. So.
All right, very cool. This is my favorite Amy song. This is Least of These by Amy Goloby.
I am the forgotten widow. I am frayed and torn. I am the abandoned orphan. I
All right, guys, that was The Least of Us by Amy Goloby. What a great song. I got to know, when you're sitting down and writing a song like that, do you just feel like you're his vessel? Is that what's happening?
I do. Yeah, I do. I've tried to write a lot of even, deeper songs from different points of view of really battered people. And sometimes I can't finish them. So, but I know that they need to be finished, and I know that those are the songs that God wants me to write, and those are the ones that need to be out there for other people that can't write these songs or can't speak their mind about how they feel. So
with all these impactful lyrics that you have, not just in this album, but other songs that you've written over the years, even as a younger artist, you've got to have people coming up to you. I would imagine regularly, that are being touched by your lyrics.
I've gotten messages on like Twitter and other different social media sites, and people get something from different songs.
Right.
So like The Weight, a lot of people like that one. It's about having this weight that never goes away.
Right.
So a lot of people relate to that one. Another guy messaged me about Love You Back to New, because he felt like damaged, like he couldn't, like he had done too much in his past, and so he had messaged me about that. He was in the war, he was a veteran, and so he really felt strongly about that one. So there's usually different songs that, and Face of God is one that a lot of people comment on, because that one's blatantly about God. Like,
and so as an artist, this has got to be redemptive for you, right?
Yeah, like that's what I do this for. Like that's what makes me really enjoy. Like it doesn't happen as regularly as you think, but when it does happen, it's like, that's why I wrote this song. Like,
and
that's
is it re-energizing too? Like
yes.
Sometimes you can kind of feel like you're in a rut, and then all of a sudden that one person comes along, builds you up, and you just puts you right back on the right path.
Yeah, and it just takes one person to say that.
Yeah,
to say,
exactly.
Like, I really got something out of your song, and I'm like, oh, well, now I'm glad I wrote that song just for that one person. So yeah, it does have a redemptive quality.
It's always a cool feeling when you could have dozens of people that are trodden on you, and it just takes that one person to rise you above all that.
Yeah.
And with, like I said, impactful lyrics, incredible stuff. We're talking to Amy Goloby about her new album. It's a fairly new album. It's called Back to New.
Yes.
And again, tell folks out there, where would you send people to go get this album?
You can go to the website, amygoloby.com. It has links to all my other social media sites. It also has, you can hear my music, watch videos, live videos, lyric videos, and then it has a link to buy my music on there. Actually, you can go to the store on my website, and you can get autographed CDs, t-shirts, and then if you just want the downloads, you can do Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, everything, pretty much everywhere.
So we would send y'all to iTunes, Amazon, probably Google Play.
Yeah, probably.
We never do Notify because it doesn't.
Notify?
Yeah, Notify.
Okay, yeah, Notify.
But it's called Back to New. It's Amy Goloby. That's GOLOBY.com. That's a good place to go because you can find out where she's playing. You can see all of her stuff on there. You also have a Reverb Nation that is really good. I love that.
Yes, and if they sign up for my newsletter on my website, I send up updates, like monthly updates of what I'm doing next, so that you will be in the know of when my next shows come up after the wedding is over. So you'll find out when those come up and when new songs come out or new video. So
and if you guys go to the rehearsal dinner or the reception after the wedding, they're going to be playing cards.
Yeah, cards. Got our honeymoon in
with
Hawaii.
Taco Bell bags all over the.
Yep.
Congratulations again on that. Congratulations on an amazing album as well.
You.
And I hope you guys out there will check it out. If you don't want to buy the album, she has no problem with y'all going to check it out on her YouTube as well. But if you do and you want to listen to that free, make sure you hit the subscribe button for her.
Yeah.
Because that'll definitely help her out. And there's also share buttons on YouTube. So if you like the stuff she's doing, share it everywhere. Let's get more people to hear her music. Amy, again, I want to thank you for coming on the show. First time on the ETX ROCKS Show. All right, guys, so once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the 186th episode of the ETX ROCKS Show, featuring Amy Goloby from Houston, Texas, by way of Tomball. They're the same thing. Again, it was a pleasure to have you here, Amy. And if you're listening or tuning in for the first time to us, make sure you're following along with everything we do. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ETX Rocks. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, just got picked up by Stitcher, and CastBox, they're both top 5 podcast apps in the world. Super excited about that. Every month, because of you guys out there and your support, more people are seeing what we're doing. And by proxy, because of that, our artists are getting more exposure, our guests are getting more notice, and that's always a good thing. Remember, like we always say on this show, we want to thank you guys out there for supporting live music, and don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris,
Aaron Watson, ETX Rocks.
ETX Rocks, Alan Fox Band.
Hey guys, we're the Morning Madhouse. I'm Carter.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Ginger.
It's the best podcast ever made in all of history.
Hi, this is Paul Bebo, and I ETX Rocks with Boston Chris Barnes. You're gonna love it.
ETX Rocks.
Hey East Texas, DP here. ETX Rocks.
Hey East Texas, we're Enduring House, a Christian rock band.
ETX Rocks! Hey, this is Monty Pittman from ETX Rocks.
Hey East Texas, Jaden Farnsworth. ETX Rocks.
Hey everybody, I'm David McCarty with the Gypsy Creek Band. As always, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, this is Chris Colston. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
To the ETX ROCKS Show.
ETX ROCKS Show.
Ho! Hey folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I just want to make sure you support local music.
Hi East Texas, this is Chris Wayne.
And Crystal Clark with KYKX 1057. ETX Rocks.
Hey East Texas, we're Lady Chaz and the Tramps. And just remember, ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Todd Freeman of ETX Rocks with Boston Chris.
Hey East Texas, I'm Waylon Hicks, and remember, ETX rocks.
Hey, what's going on guys? This is the one and only SP, El Mexicano con Estilo. Make sure to support your local music, and ETX rocks.
Hello, we're one way home.
Hey East Texas, this is Teaser.
Please continue to support local music.
And always remember, ETX rocks!
Howdy folks, this is Aaron Watson. Support local music and ETX Rocks.
Hey, this is Chris Colston, and make sure you support local music
And ETX rocks.
Hey, this is Hannah Kirby. Thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy, ho!
Covering music-related content of all genres. If it filters through Eastern Texas, it's fair game. Y'all bring it. From Texarkana down to the coast and Dallas down to Houston and everything in between, we are ETX Rocks!
Hit the brakes!